So yeah, right now we got ourselves one heck of a race here. We got the two best 0 runners in the whole world right here. And this is quite an optimized game, so... And these guys are really know what they're doing, so... Oh, we're already going, it looks like.
Yep.
So, starting off, you're noticing that they're taking a ton of damage. And there is a reason for that, is when we get to this opening of this boss in the opening stage, if you take enough damage to where you have either 1 or 2 HP left, the cutscene of Zero saying, "Oh no, I can't beat this giant robot," will start immediately. So that's what they're doing right now. So yeah, Hetfield is just gonna ram his face into this robot. Cutscene starts immediately. And then Cyber Elf X appears, gives the saber to Zero, and he's not gonna kill the boss right away. What he's gonna do is he's gonna do a glitch where if you do what he's doing right now... Oh, that was a bad death. But yeah, what he tried to do there was, if you do a extended jump slash against that fist, you get EXP for every frame that your saber is touching that fist. And saber EXP is extremely important in this game, because it gives you stuff like your double slash, your triple slash, your charge slash. And without any of those, well, you can still play the game just fine without it, but having charge slash by the end game is definitely very helpful. So, it looks like Hetfield's just gonna just start from this beginning instead of just taking the death. So yeah, the main reason that you want to get to EXP early on is because you want the rolling slash for Maha. And we'll get to that in a bit. So coming up here in the disposal center, you're noticing that Flame is killing these pinwheel guys. If he kills 5 of them, he gets a bird elf, which you'll need for much later. And also you saw him hit this little weather thing, which pushes the range to the right of the screen, which allows him to outrun the screen and move much quickly. So yeah, I guess coming up on the boss here, it's a relatively straightforward boss. Iframes in 0-1 at least are kind of similar to, I guess, the X series in a way, where the first 2 hits do not trigger proper iframes, so you can spam them over and over again and deal more damage that way. It's only if you do a triple slash then iframes will properly enable. And he's on the wall, so I guess that's another thing we should probably get into is RNG manipulation. And that is at the start of each stage, the RNG value is set to the stage's index value, and then things within the stage change it. So some examples would be if you're fire a buster shot at a wall, or you slid down a wall, or you killed an enemy. Like, all these things advance RNG. So if you play the game the same way each time, you'll get the same RNG. And this is extremely important for boss fights, because you can always, if you do it correctly, you can get the same pattern every time. So if you did the manipulation of the stage correctly, then that boss would never jump up onto the wall. He'd just dash back and forth forever until the fight's over. So coming up on this next stage here, which I believe is you gotta retrieve the data. There's not too much in the stage itself. The boss itself is a lot more interesting, where I believe Flame just got it right now. I think he just got the rolling slash, which is one of the reasons why you need to do that EXP glitch at the start of the game. Is the rolling slash has kind of a weird way of how iframes work, where if you do it, like if you hit the boss with a rolling slash, but if you're not moving, it won't trigger iframes. But if you are moving, then it will trigger iframes. So what he's going to try to do is see, he triggered iframes there. So see right now, like, he stops right as the rolling slash hits, so that iframes don't hit, and he can just combo this boss over and over again. Like, this is actually quite difficult to pull off, so the fact that he was able to do that, like, that well is quite amazing. So now that he's beat the boss, now he has to escape from the falling blocks, and the way you do that is when you get to these walls that block you, you gotta do a jump slash, then wiggle back and forth as fast as you can. It's not easy to do, but the fact that Saber lags for 4 frames does help a little bit. So the reason we go to this stage first, before any other stage, is because finishing this stage will give you 2 very important weapons, the triple rod and the shield boomerang. The triple rod is it's got its uses, but it's nowhere near as good as the shield boomerang, which has a rather interesting kind of quirk in 0-1, where if you hold it out and do a saber slash, it'll cancel out that saber slash much earlier than usual. So combined with the fact that a normal saber slash does not trigger proper iframes, that allows you to slash bosses really, really fast. But but the way it works is that you get the triple rod first, then the shield. So what he's going to do is he's going to go do a stage which does not require using shield boomerang canceling, which is Anubis, but you can't even hit him with the shield boomerang anyway, so it works out. So coming up here is you're seeing these birds in the stage. He wants to kill 5 of them, so he gets yet another bird elf, which will come in handy later. And I believe there's also a very big thing in the stage that affects RNG. I think it was the little tornado generator things.
Yeah.
Yeah, those things. You don't want those to be on screen for too long, or else it messes up your manipulation. Especially because for this boss, you want to make sure you get your manipulation, because these little pillar things here, you want him to spawn 2 of them, like he just did right now. Like he only had 2 cycles. In a worst case scenario, he can do 4 cycles, and that can waste a ton of time. I think it's like I don't know, like upwards like 20 seconds. I want to say. I don't know. It's been too long since I played this.
Yeah, it's around something like that.
Yeah. So he missed one there, so he's got to wait it out an extra cycle. Sometimes I believe it's the zombie guys, they can change RNG as well. So coming up on this next part here, this part is very Resident Sleeper. You gotta escort this one guy all the way back to the base, and he moves very, very slowly. I mean, just look at him. Like, this is how fast he goes.
And if he goes off screen, you have to go back to pick him up.
Yeah, that makes it even worse. So fortunately, this section isn't entirely a big waste, because there's a ton of enemies that you can get Saber EXP on, so you can get your charge slash sooner. And I guess to talk about EXP while we're going through this slog, and that is yeah. So the way EXP works in these series is in this games is you just have to deal damage to get EXP. You don't have to kill. So as long as it hits, you're good. And the type of attack you use determines how much EXP you get. So a single slash will give you 1 EXP, a double gives you 2, and a triple gives you 4. So that's why he's triple slashing as many things as he can, so he can get to, I believe it's 7 total EXP off of 1 triple slash. And if he one-shots an enemy anyway, then he wants to hit that enemy with a triple slash so he gets 4 EXP instead of just 1. And we are still going through this. I think we're getting close to the end of it, though.
Hi, you mind if I read off a donation real quick?
Yeah, sure.
Sure.
Awesome, appreciate it. So we have a $10 donation from Clipper1. He says all Raph. So that puts Raphael in the lead as far as the turtle pick for Turtles in Time. So if you want Donatello, which is pretty close, you can go ahead and shift that by putting your money.
We just got a little bit more to go. There we go. We made it. All that time just to save that one guy. So now that we finished that stage, the shield boomerang will be available to us now. So Flame's going to go quickly pick that up. Now from this point on, I believe routing isn't too important. It more or less just comes down to optimizing your menus, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah. 'Cause,
Right now tries to make the least amount of bosses as possible.
yeah, because that's kind of a new that's kind of a semi kind of newish thing with I guess speedrunning Zero games is that we use RTA over game time because game time does not count pauses, so optimizing your order doesn't matter in that case, but in this case, since we're using real time, it does matter. So now we're going to be going to, I believe this was, you got to save the hostages.
Yep.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot to say about the stage itself, I believe, although there is another manipulation I believe you do here so that the boss jumps at you right away, so he's not just wasting time just shooting ice, like little ice spears at you and making funny noises. They just saved one of them right now. Although one thing you gotta watch out for in this part is there are these pantheons that will sound an alarm if they see you, and when that happens then you have to wait for the alarm to stop before you can free a hostage again. But I believe there's one later on, I think one pantheon when you kill it, that you don't want to shoot too much or else you might hit a wall, I think. You don't want an extra P shot to hit a wall or else it messes up your RNG manipulation. Oh yeah, I guess one other little thing is if you see any of the runners accidentally scrape up against a wall and start seeing them slide down it, they're screaming eternally.
Yep.
Yep. Just take our word for it. They are screaming internally big time. If someone's got that clip, that'd be a good time to post that. So yeah, coming up on Blizzak here. If Flame did his manipulation correctly, then he'll jump then the boss will jump at him right away. And he did. So he just fires this giant ice beam at a wall and you just slash him to death. There's Orsa with the clip. Yeah, I'd recommend watching that clip. It's a very good clip. So now we're coming up to, we're going back to the desert again. Although this time, there's a lot more guys. The purpose of this mission is that you're supposed to try to kill as many enemies as you can. In fact, if you're doing an S rank run of this stage, I believe there's like a good 40 seconds where you're just standing in one spot, just shooting a spawning pantheon over and over again to raise your enemy score. But since this is all missions, we don't have time for that, so we just rush through all of this. So coming up on this boss here, you want him to jump. Like, he can either jump or try to grab you. If he tries to grab you, then you have to waste time jumping over him. But if you do your manipulation correctly, then he'll just jump every time. Meaning that you can just get all this free damage on him. And Flame got his manipulation correctly, so he just jumped, I believe it was, 2 or 3 times. Yeah, after you complete a few missions, you get this little kind of intermission stage where a big giant tank thingy tries to destroy the base. Now, this is kind of a weird boss where it doesn't have proper iframes. So what you're going to see Flame do is he's going to throw his shield boomerang and try to intercept at the same time he does a jump slash. If he does it correctly, then he'll do damage for every frame that the two are intersecting, and it'll do a ton of damage. Like that. Like he's able to get 2 nice ones off right there. So you can destroy this tank much quicker than intended. And it's also nice is that since you destroy it so quickly, you don't destroy it near the spikes. Because I've had that in the back in the day where you destroy it near the spikes. You try to grab the cyber elf while it's over the spikes, and you die and you lose your run. So coming up on this stage here is the train. Not too much to say about this first section. There's not really any RNG manipulation going on here, but you're going to be seeing another damage stack on this mini boss. Oh yeah, I guess there's another thing too. When you see either runner do a jump dash while holding the shield boomerang out, that's actually a frame perfect trick, I believe, where you have to push jump and dash on the same frame.
Actually, you can also jump and press dash right after the jump, and it'll still do a dash jump.
Oh right, that's another way you can do it, yeah. I believe that method's easier, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So coming up on this boss here, you're going to be seeing him switch to the triple rod because, well, you can't hit him with your single slash, so you got to use this thing instead. This is actually kind of a scary boss because you need to kind of do like a diagonal angle up towards him, and it's very easy to just accidentally just walk into him and take more damage than you intended. Although, if you're feeling a bit unsafe, the boss running into him does less damage than getting hit by his fire.
Ooh.
Yeah, that was a. I think that actually puts you quite far back. I think that death. Yeah, puts you back to the start of the train. Oh yeah, that's another thing that both runners need to watch out for. Is if they run out of lives, then they cannot reselect the mission. Because 0-1's weird like that, where if you run out of lives, it'll just skip the mission for you and take you back to the stage select. So getting a game over without saving here is actually pretty bad.
And if you run out of lives on the final stages, you have to reload a save.
Oh yeah, there's not even an option to skip. So yeah, now we're back to this guy again. Yeah, just taking a save there. Those spikes on the ceiling are instant kill, by the way.
You mind if I read off another donation?
Yeah, go ahead.
Sure.
Awesome. So we got a $10 donation from Ultra. He says, "Go both burgers, best race ever." Donation is for Shinobi Legions. Good choice, my friend.
Now we're going back to the desert. I believe this is the last time we go back to the desert, I think. And
yeah.
And this time, the Ice Age has ended because this section here is no longer frozen once we get to it. It's all water. And there's this neat little skip you can do here where if you, using the triple rod, you can bounce off an enemy and skip having to... and you can get onto the sub a bit early. You can skip having to go under the other one. Ooh, and he missed it. This is kind of tricky to get because of the way the triple rod rod works, where you need to be holding down, like, exactly, because if you hold, like, diagonal down, then you'll just do, like, a diagonal stab, and you can't bounce with that. Although if you're really fancy at this part, you can get the early cycle on the sub. Oh, Hetfield's going for it. Yo, we got it.
Got him.
Yeah, that's quite hard to get. Yo, nice bounce there. Okay, now that you've destroyed the computers, you gotta head back, and once you get back to this area, you gotta fight Leviathan. Leviathan's a rather straightforward boss. She does the exact same pattern no matter what the RNG value is, I believe.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, she's like that in 0-1 then too. Okay, so what you're gonna see them do is basically just try to get behind her and get as much damage as they can. If you're feeling really fancy, you can try to sneak in some triple rod hits, but that's only if you're feeling really fancy.
Yeah, that's the way Hetfield does the fight. He changes between the second slash and 2 triple rod hits.
But yeah, he just did it right there. Yeah, this is a really cool strat.
It doesn't save time on this fight, but it lets you do a pogo jump on Harpuya stage
Oh, that's neat.
without having to pause.
Oh yeah, there's not too much to say about Harpuya's stage itself. The boss, you can get him in kind of an AI loop. Oh wow, that was a scary jump.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you can get him in an AI loop where if you hit him when he's in the air, he'll get knocked down and then he'll do his little like 1-2 slash thing. So what you want to do is you want to get him to do that over and over again. Also, another important thing I guess to keep in mind if you're playing this and is contact damage with the boss does less damage than his projectile. So if you're not feeling sure about how well you're doing, just run into the boss before he does his little energy wave attack that he does before he gets off the ground. So coming up here is the factory. This is going to be the first instance we're going to see a Cyber Elf being used. In normal play, these are kind of like your, I guess your power-ups in a way. Like they kind of work like stuff like they can either give you more health or other weird things like remove spikes from the game. This one that Flame just used acts like Beat from Classic Mega, so if he falls in a pit, he'll just float right back out of it. And coming up here is this rather long auto-scroller where you gotta sit on these little guys carrying wood over a giant pit. You can just skip it just from falling in the pit with the Cyber Elf, and you just float up and skip it. Yeah, coming up on this boss here, this is actually, even though it's a rather kind of straightforward in concept, this boss, you're just hitting him with a triple rod. What kind of makes it tough is that he's bobbing up and down, which means that you sometimes might miss hits. So you want to time it just right so that both hits hit. And if you do it right, then he'll die right now. Yeah, you got it. You got it right there.
Yeah,
you got the 2 cycles.
2 cycles.
For doing that, you get the flame chip, which is not the chips in 0-1 aren't too useful in terms of speed, but they kind of have their little spots here and there where you use them. So coming up on the last stage before we get to the end game, which is we're going back to the factory one more time. Flame shot a P shot to the left before triggering the boss fight with Phantom, because there's nothing in the stage that's affecting RNG at this point, but if you fire Buster Shot to the left, it does change the RNG. And it just so happens that shooting 1 P shot will give you a very good Phantom pattern, so that's what he did here.
Yeah, if you don't shoot that Buster to the wall, Phantom will start spawning his clones, and that takes up a lot of time.
Yeah, it's a really slow attack. Also, shoutouts to the Framler Z's here. Oh, Flame just got grabbed by one. Oh, Flame's not going for the iceless jump, I see.
Yeah, the thing with this iceless jump is that besides being pretty difficult by itself, you also have to break all those fans and barriers. And unless you're a Wiggletron god, it takes roughly the same amount of time that going the downhill.
So it's really just swag then.
Yep.
Well, we got Hetfield doing it, so I guess we got to show that off anyway. This part here, defusing the bombs, is kind of scary, especially when you're first learning it, because the screen size does not help with this section at all. The oh, that was there we go. Got death there. Fortunately, that will put him after the boss, so it's not too bad. We can see Iceless again, though.
Nice.
I guess one nice thing about this stage, if you do take the upper route, is that there's a infinitely spawning 1-up, so you can just grab that if you need to. So now we're at the end game here. After you either finish all the missions, or I think it's if you fail certain missions. I think Duel in the Desert is one. If you fail that, then this triggers. Then the base will get attacked, and you got to go quickly defend it. preferably you'd want your charge slash at this point because you can stun those big muscle guys. Also, shouts to the Zappy boys. Yeah, that jumping over that guy without clinging onto the wall is actually quite precise to do. So coming up on a Hanu machine here. This is quite an easy manipulation to get, but if you do get it, then Hanu machine will just run at you immediately, and you just corner him into the left wall, and he dies.
Like that.
Yep. Really threatening boss. So now we're coming up on the Neo Arcadia stages. This next stage is actually quite tricky to do because there's 3 bosses in it, and you need to manipulate each. Well, the first one you don't really need to manipulate. It's the last 2 you need to manipulate.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, the first one has a set pattern, but the other 2 don't, and they have attacks which you don't want them to be using. There's not really too much to say until we get to the first boss, where there's gonna be something more interesting to talk about. Yeah, I guess this would be a good time for like donations if you need any.
Cool, I appreciate it. Nothing for now, but I just wanted to plug again the fact that we have a couple incentives coming up that have not been met. We're just doing an Ape Escape run in a couple of hours, and we're $20 out of 100 on the bonus level incentive. Also, to let you know, we have prizes going on throughout the marathon. The current prize is Hitman, the complete first season. Any donation of $5 or more enters you to win that. So there'll be new games. The next one will start after Ape Escape. Yeah, get those donations in.
So now they're at the boss, and there's a nice damage stack there. There is a method you can do where you can Wiggletron with a charge slash. However, it's quite difficult to do and just not consistent, especially if you're trying to keep your RNG going. So that's why you don't see most runners do it. Because this guy here, you want him to throw swords like that, because then he just stands there and you just dish out damage.
Also, you want to get away from this boss as soon as possible, since both of them drop Cyberelves, and every time there's that little dust on the screen from a Cyberelf, the RNG changes.
Oh yeah, that's another thing too. I believe it's every 31 or 32 frames that it appears, so you're gonna see Flame using his second bird elf here to skip this Yoku block section. Now coming up on the first Beetle Bro. We'll see the second one in a game from now, but for now, let's see. Oh yeah, he kind of missed the damage stack. He didn't get his manipulation here. So what you want this Beetle guy to do is you want him to dash at you, because then you can get in a lot of hits that way, because when he goes up in the air like that, you kind of just have to wait it out. So coming up on this next stage here has probably one of the harder tricks in the game, where the elevator skip. And even then, we can't even do the full elevator skip in real time just because it's just too difficult. So you can only kind of do like a half skip, where you need to basically do 3 iceless jumps in a row. And I believe the way that both of them are going to do it is they're going to dash up the wall, so that they put themselves at just a far enough distance to where they can still wall jump off it, so they can get a little bit more extra distance and make the jumps. So yeah, Flame's gonna be. Oh, he got 1. We got 2. Oh, you got all. Oh, you got sniped. It doesn't matter. You got back up. So yeah, that's actually quite difficult to do. And that's not counting the fact that there's still the rest of the stage after that. He's gonna go for the. Oh, he's gonna. Oh, he didn't get it. You can wall jump up those blocks there, but it's quite difficult to do. Also, I guess one fortunate thing about 0-1 RNG is just simply wall jumping does not change RNG. You have to wall slide. That was a change made in Z3 where if you just simply doing a wall jump will change RNG. So even if you do mess up a little bit, it most likely won't affect your seed. Because you want to see Rainbow Devil do this pattern where he does a little spinny thing on the ground because it leaves him wide open for attack. So now we're going to see if Hetfield can do the elevator skip. He's got one. And you got all three. Yeah, I think the elevator does despawn if you take too long. So if you do kind of go for it, I think you're kind of just committed at that point.
Yep.
So coming up here on the boss rush. For this first section, you want to kind of get your RNG lined up so that when you do the Anubis refight, he gives you the good patterns for the pillars. So because of that, Flame goes to Blizzak first.
Also, the boss rush is the first part where the chips really gain importance, because you'll be using the fire chip for Anubis, and you'll want to menu least amount of times, so you'll have to be careful on which chips you have equipped.
Oh yeah, there's that too. So I believe you want the Thunder chip coming up in a fight or two, I think.
Yep.
Also, sometimes you'll see that he does a charge slash on the ground over in the air. That's because doing a ground charge slash does advance RNG. I think the reason for that is because it raises these dirt particle effects things. So coming back up on Maha again. This time we're not going to be doing the spin slash strat since we got charge attacks. So what you do is you alternate charge saber and charge shield boomerang, and it just keeps him in place and he dies. Or he... Okay, now he dies. So I believe he keeps Ice Chip on for the rest of the boss rush, I think?
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah. So yeah, this is what you want to see Beetle Guy do. Just dash back and forth. Well, Flame's really brave. He's skipping the big health. He's feeling really confident today. Like, there's even another big health and a one up there. He's just skipping those too. So now we're going to be fighting Phantom. It's basically the same strategy as before. You don't want him to do his duplication attack. It was a good fight. But he's going to try to take us down with us. And oh! Wow, I can't believe Flame fell for that. How could you fall for that? It's such an easy trick to... Well, okay, there is a reason he did that. Is because Phantom dying does kind of mess up the RNG really badly. So you die to him to reset the RNG. So yeah, that's why he took the death there. It
and
cost you...
conveniently, yeah. Go on.
Oh yeah, it cost you 2 seconds to take the death. So yeah.
Conveniently, upon spawning 2 dust clouds from the wall, Fefner will do the 3 jump pattern, so it's
Okay,
really easy to manipulate.
So yeah, he'll just jump over you, and that's the fight. I believe for a Leviathan here, he's going to wait a bit before he starts the fight.
Yeah, if you close the Xbox too early, Leviathan will be way up, and you won't be able to saber her.
Yeah. And we got Hetfield. Apparently, he couldn't dodge the Phantom's last attack either. But it's okay. He's got 7 lives, so he's fine. So that now that Flames passed the boss rush, all we got left is this faker that thinks he's Mega Man X. Yeah, Copy X is kind of a finicky boss where he has a whole bunch of different attacks, but there is this trick you can do where you can kind of pin him up against the wall. It's very precise to do. I believe it's like a 1-frame trick, I think. I'm not sure.
Yeah, the thing with Copy X is that if you hit him too many times when he's pinned to the wall, he will free from it and just strike at you. But there is a frame perfect trick where you can reset him just as he's about to touch the ground, and he won't do the no strike.
Oh wow, that was a nice wall pin there.
Yeah.
Okay, now Copy X is mad, so he's going to turn into whatever the heck this thing is. And interestingly, this final boss actually has a weakness. He's weak to the ice chip, which is rather unusual because final bosses in these games normally don't have a weakness. So you're going to kind of see him do a combination of charge attacks here to try to get as many hits in as he can. You also want to watch out for those kind of rings he does there. Oh yeah, it's time, by the way, on Flame.
GG.
GG. Yeah, you want to watch out for those rings because if you get hit by one, they'll drag you into the pit and you die. So now we got Hetfield just starting the Copy X fight. And he also got the wall pin.
Nice. Oh yeah, a fun fact about this boss that's worth mentioning is that his attacks deal a lot of damage, but if you run into him, it only deals 1 damage.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. It's actually a good strategy if you want to just not deal with the harder stuff. You just tank a hit off of him and then just touch the fire. And that's time on Hetfield. So GG. The Ice Age has ended.